Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief. Got a great show for you today, talking about MindMedicine, which, okay, this is different from the normal investments that I'm normally talking about. This is certainly a speculation, so own due diligence, all of that. We'll get to the full disclaimer here in a bit, but it's really a pretty interesting concept, and I think it tackles some major problems we have in our society with addiction. Those have been going on forever with kind of drug addiction. But then when you look at anxiety treatments, and one thing, that I've always said, having two, not necessarily super young kids, but these cell phones and social media, and I think the long-term effects of that could lead to a lot more anxiety, when this generation becomes adults, right? I think that maybe our generation and, the various ones that didn't grow up with the cell phone might be a little more adjusted, because we didn't get all this continuous feedback as a child. So we shall see. But this certainly is, when you look at the issues children are having, and you want to put them on Ritalin for life and all these diagnoses of ADHD, all of that stuff, and how to treat it. I think there is room for certainly some breakthroughs in the next few decades or so. Now, I don't know that it's necessarily going to be tied to psychedelics, but I do kind of believe the story. So I think I'm going to start putting some money towards this. It's speculative. It's not a huge position, not going to be a game changer. And it's largely a buy and hold position, because you just buy into it and you believe, and you got to wait for a while. I'm going to show you some of the cool stuff MindMedicine is working on. I see the comment, thanks Daytona, about the whole Joe Rogan thing. I don't know if he's actually on board, but he would be the guy that, right, would be like a spokesman for it, personality wise. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We also do have to talk about the market, and Friday morning is jobs number time, right? So we have a jobs number that comes out and lays a complete egg. So 978,000 new jobs expected, and we get 266,000. That's called not close. That's a whiff. And what does tech do? Tech screams higher. So this is one of these, bad news is good news days. So bad news, meaning we didn't create as much jobs as we expected. We expected the unemployment rate to drop to 5.8%. It's not. It increased to 6.1%. So how in the world could tech be screaming higher off of that? Well, if the economy, so this tells us, this jobs number tells us the economy is not exploding, into the open. It's not growing, it's not overheating as everybody keeps talking, which means interest rates go down, and the Fed's probably not going to raise interest rates anytime soon. They keep saying that. I don't know why nobody's listening, because everybody's worried about them doing that, but I got it. You got to have something to put on TV. So, with that, tech that's been hit kind of lately, right? Your Apple, your Amazon, Palantir, all those names kind of been hit because everybody keeps saying the interest rates are going to go up. Well, if the economy is not overheating, we don't need to raise interest rates, what the Fed's saying, which means tech can continue going higher. So quite a healthy bounce in tech this morning. So those are things. That's what I've got for you today. If you're catching us on a replay, thank you so much. Click the subscribe and notifications bell. You're notified when this gets published every day. If you want to join us live, what you don't see is a chat window and a Q&A window for folks to ask me questions. I'll answer anything that you got. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. welcome back, everyone. Here is the lineup and card for today, Friday, May 7th. Happy Friday. We can use a nice big nice big green day here on Friday. It's been kind of a rough week, especially those that are heavily invested in technology, which is you and me and everybody in the room. The folks are in the room that are invested with me. Yeah, it's been a little rough. I saw a couple of folks pop in here. Let me hit you with that. Again, that's what we're looking at for our long and short. We'll go over that here in a minute. All right, make sure you have your chat window and your Q&A window set up appropriately. Standard disclaimer applies, especially today with a speculative investment that we're talking about. It's a financial education presentations. You have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. All right, mission objectives: grow our money, protect our money, live off our money. This certainly falls under the grow our money category. This is one of these things, especially, the stock is below $5, and that's, so it is not necessarily a penny stock, but it's certainly not a fully mature stock. So when you buy things like that, generally your philosophy needs to be, I'm going to buy this because I believe, and then I'm going to hold it until I just can't hold it no more, right? It's one of those, sure, it's at $4 today. It could be at $3 tomorrow. It's one of those, if you believe, you buy it. If you do not believe the thesis that I present to you today, don't buy it. Take a pass on it. You don't, it's interesting. We talked about Dogecoin this week. I don't have any of that stuff. I'm not doing any altcoins. I like Bitcoin. That's about it. Ethereum, yep, it's screaming higher. I got that. And I buy the philosophy behind it, but I don't have a convenient way to buy it, and I don't want to open a coin wallet and all that. But when you get into this stuff, you need to just believe, right? And you hold it, and the price is going to flop all over the place. Let the traders get in and out. You're buying as an investment, right? You don't care that you can make 10% in 2 days. You care that you bought into an appropriate investing thesis and you made 4,000% in 10 years, right? That's what you're looking for. That's what we're looking for. All right, so we're going to talk about psychedelic treatments. We'll get into that here in a second. I'll show you the MindMedicine website. Again, it's $4. So, especially if you're a younger person in the room, you could buy, some shares, right? And not be killed on, if something goes wrong. $4 a share, put $400, say about 100 shares, you get $400 in it. I don't know, keep an eye on it, right? It certainly has a lot of upside, especially if it goes mainstream in the next, 5 years, if you will. All right, our flow today, long, short, open, short, long. Did have tech difficulties earlier, had to restart everything. So that's why we started a little bit late here. We'll do a market review, headline review, look at MNMD as a long-term investment. Short-term execution, we've got 5 longs there and just 1 short. I don't really like the short. It's Beyond Meat just got killed by some after hours from their earnings and conference call. But the longs, you're looking, Tilray got a huge upgrade today. NKTX is a partnership with CRISPR Therapeutics. So again, in the bio space here, you've got Energy Transfer. It's benefiting from the Texas freeze. Expedia with the opening trade, and then Roku has just been on fire as well. So those are the names we have long there. And there's the, hit those again for the person who just showed up. There you go. That's what we just talked about. I like the longs better than the shorts here, even with the terrible jobs number we got this morning. All right, here's your think pipes. I do have some tech names thrown up here. You can see Apple, Amazon, and Palantir. All those raised higher when we got that terrible jobs number. So again, like I talked about in the open, bad news is good news. Economy's not overheating, so therefore interest rates aren't going up. And tech can scream higher, which it is doing this morning. When you look at where we are, we've been kind of flatlining for a while. It seems like we're down big, right? That's more of a human emotion thing. We're not down big. We're just, it's flatlining, and then, tech has sold off recently. So I think we're going to see a lot of that come back pretty hard today. When you look at our past 5 days, get the right ticker in here. 5 days on the SPY, which looks more like this. So we had sold off a couple days. This was Tuesday with the Janet Yellen comments about raising interest rates, and we're just kind of going back higher from there. We're at the magic 420 level, so just kind of sitting there on this Friday. All right, let's come back to take a look at the headlines real quick. That's not the right screen. Hold up. So we got to kill that. Kill this. All right, now we are coming back to the CNBC screen. There we go. Sorry for the delay there. Okay, here's our futures. Dow did go into the red briefly. We'll see how things are holding here. And here's your big bump up in in the Nasdaq in the tech. So yields dive on the jobs report. So terrible jobs report. Bad news is good news. Goes higher. All right, Asia mixed. Not much going on there. Europe also mixed. Well, they're mostly in the green there. Here's your 10-year down to 1.543. Remember, it was up almost touching 1.8, and everybody thought screaming inflation top of their lungs, which we talked about yesterday. But yeah, it's not happening, right? So moving on. Oil at 64, gold and silver getting a little bit of a bump, and then see Bitcoin up 2%. Ethereum's been on fire lately. We don't really talk about it. I'm not going to start anytime soon, but it has been on fire lately, and Mark Cuban will not shut up about it, which obviously helps things go higher. Okay, here's the jobs number. Again, we expected 978,000. We got 266. Oops. We expected the unemployment rate to drop to 5.8. It's still at 6.1. So again, a little bit of negativity there going into the economy not screaming open. So therefore, interest rates will stay lower. All right, investor protections. Here's your new SEC chair. Need protection from Bitcoin and crypto. I don't think you're able to. I mean, if people are in the cult, they're in the cult, and they are. Here's your Jeffrey's upgrade. We'll be trading that today, so set up for Tilray long as our top one, and NKTX next. Peloton, yeah, it crashed the other day, and then they just had earnings, and it's up like 6% this morning. DraftKings again had a huge blowout number, so things are looking good there. All right, let's talk about MindMedicine real quick. Here's the chart of MindMedicine. So this is where, MindMed. So look at these numbers over here again. It's 341 right now. So when you look at the chart, penny stock basically comes out of penny stock status right before the election. Gets kind of this is where a bunch of funding, $240 million was the number that they were able to raise. And then kind of flatline from here. Here was the listing into the NASDAQ. Yes, into the NASDAQ. And then since it's been listed, it's kind of dropped off from there. So 340. So I think it's kind of an attractive entry point from the chart, if you will. So consider when you look at breakthrough healing, the idea is that, and let's see, I've got a different one here. There was the 240 million, or excuse me, 204 million, kind of same thing, big number, right, of investment that they got in. That's what pumped the stock up earlier. We'll get back to this right after the open, but this is their website. It's mindmed.co if you want to take a look along with me. Okay, let's get ready for the open. Again, we have two longs and short. We have Tilray long that I need to get set up for here. Tilray right there coming at you. And then NKTX, this is bounced out of our range, but it could move higher. Low volume on the NKTX. So it'll be after the open, but again, with CRISPR Therapeutics, new contract with them. And then this is Beyond Meat selling off. So that's how we are positioned for the open. Give me a second and we will get going. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target play of the day. We have 10 seconds to the market open. You have 4 screens in front of you on the TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform. They're all 1-minute charts. We have the SPY, which was in the green based off of good news or some bad jobs number. Tech was going higher, so it's open and just barely in the green. You have Tilray open at 6% in the green, and then NKTX open up, in the 10% range. These are both long, so Tilray and NKTX long, and then short over here on our Beyond Meat. I'm not really interested in the short unless the market just really flips and goes red based off of that terrible jobs number. So we've been hopping in. We hopped in pretty quick twice this week and got out of our trade within 60 seconds both times. So we're going to be more patient today, even though I want to take this Tilray trade long really pretty quick. But I'm going to be patient because I said I was going to be patient. And then this trade, you can see there's not a whole lot of the volume here. So I really have to be careful when you move in and out of NKTX, but let some volume come into that name as well. All right, for our trade here for Tilray, we look at, call it 15 at the bottom. We would be in higher at 15.15. So that's a 15-cent stop, and then our exit would be up at 15.60, which I think it can achieve. I'll try to back this down to a 10-cent stop if I can, but we shall see. So 15.15 long, there it is. So we're taking a 15.15 long in Tilray. I know I said I would wait, and that didn't seem very patient. We shall see. 15 is your stop. So if it blows below 15, we're out. And then we'll get we're going long here. So to get everything drawn, and it's got to hold $15. If it doesn't hold 15, again, we're out of the trade and we're moving on. There we go. Feel a little bit more comfortable about it now. So again, let's 15.60 is your exit point. I don't think it's going to scream higher for that. There we go. That's well, maybe it does. All right. So get our stuff drawn in here. Again, protect yourself first, even though it's going higher right there. Always get your bottom stop in. So we've got that drawn in. All right. 15.15, 15.30 is the first R. 15.45 is your second R. And then 15.60 is your exit. Don't know why that went crazy there. So there we go. There's our trade. Again, looking at 15.60 is the exit, and your protection's all the way down here at 15.50 even. Okay, let's look at the other trades. NKTX just does not have the volume to take long here, so just really can't trade that. All right, get ready for the exit. 15.60 is the exit on Tilray, so just be ready to get out of that trade. Beyond did peak out here. It's a $4 move right here already, so you really can't get in on that short. So you would have had to take it back here in the 109 level. So it's just gone too far to short. Some people exit on a double top like this. I don't. I think this has a staying power of the day, so I wouldn't be concerned of killing the trade here. If you're a professional trader and you have all kinds of little rules like this to get you out of something, remember the situation I set us up for is we take it, we have risk 1 R unit to the downside, so there's our trade. We're out 15.60. Booking our 300% gain. So to recap the trade, so this is Tilray. It was an upgrade off of Jefferies. It was really big news. We'll back out the chart here a little bit so you can kind of see the history. So you had the big gap up, right? And you had it go all the way up to here. And then when we get close to the market open, again, went red right away. So why does it go red? That's profit taking. So we let it go red. We let it establish the low of the day, which was 15.04. We had it bounce back from that, or we picked an R unit of 15 cents. That's where we bought it at 15.15. We put our protection in at $15, so we don't lose money. So we risk 1 risk unit here, and then we go for 3, and it's up at 4R now, probably going higher from there. So again, this is where we exit the trade at the 3R point and call it good. So nice trade for a Friday morning. All right, let's take a look at some other names we had here for the trade. Yeah, I think MJ will be up. Let's just take a look at it. So there's 230 again. MJ Apex brought this up in the chat. Yeah, up nicely. It's obviously not going to carry the single stock weight, but up nicely as well. You look at some other players. CGC is probably up. Yeah, so these are not sympathetic play, kind of sympathetic plays. So you get one stock up higher, and then everybody else buys that are like, well, I don't want to buy it. It's up 10%. So, but I'll buy something else. So you also have TOK, another ETF I don't use because of the lower volume. So it's not even moving really. So get rid of that. All right, let's check on tech. Look at the Apple. Oh, nope, that did not hold. So it's up at 132 all the way down to 130. I think really honestly, you could go long tech here today. I bet you the Amazon's probably similar. Yep. So, nice pop up all the way back down. Again, I do think we're set up for a nice green day with these things going higher. All right, let's see what else. NKTX, we talked about ET, Energy Transfer. Again, they're profiting from the Texas freeze situation, or the aftermath of, if you will. So they're higher, not really tradable. Expedia is an opening trade. So they're popping higher on earnings, had an earnings release. things are going well for them. What's the last one? Roku has just been on fire. So up 16% today as well. And sorry, they're not on fire. They're bouncing from a selling off, if I remember right. Yeah. So pretty gross sell off from 350 down to 270. Released earnings, going in. This is where you trade earnings. A lot of people like to use options here. It's just so time consuming. That I'd have to just hire somebody to teach them how to do it and then let them do it, because I just don't have time managing portfolios with mostly stocks and covered calls. I don't have times to go into earnings related, but a trading desk certainly would go, okay, look at this hard sell off. Let's buy a call right back up to 300, and then of course you're into the green right after that. And if it continues to drop or they miss earnings, then you're out that money. But again, that's more trading stuff to get into. All right, let's leave that behind, go over to some MindMedicine. So again, here's your website. If you missed the open, for the folks that are still popping in here, MindMedicine is what we're taking a look at. It's psychedelic healing. So when you look at the what they're trying to do here, it is LSD. Okay, so let's not get, they call it the shroom boom. There's LSDs, there's other things that are kind of messing with your mind. And this got on my radar scope because I have a close friend, client that is all in on this stuff. And I'm not, again, I'm coming out of a military background, so I'm kind of the, all drugs are bad. It's like stay well away, right? But that's how I'm trained. So I would not necessarily want to go on one of these retreats. But if you do watch Billions, not bringing the fake world into the real world, Axe and his sidekick went off on a 10-day retreat, took a bunch of these psychedelic drugs. They were able to analyze their own lives by having their out-of-body experience and reflecting back on okay, not quite ready for that myself, but I know there are people that believe in this. And if that's true, then if you could step out of your mind or slow your mind down enough to be able to treat some things, then you can. This is I'm looking for mental health and addiction. So you're thinking post-traumatic stress, PTSD. You're thinking anxiety, like I talked about in the open. The smartphone and social media brings, I think, that the long-term effects of that, and the social network talked about this, but it bring a lot of anxiety. And I've got two daughters. They get bombarded with feedback every day, good and bad. Everybody blows off the good and looks only at the bad, right? So it's very challenging for this generation as they leave their childhood and in her adulthood. Will they have anxiety issues? I think that could be a realistic side effect of all of this. So I wouldn't say mental illness is. We're not talking mental illness. We're talking more mental adjustment. I think is where the real money will be made here. Again with mental illness too, but treating anxiety, they have microdosing of LSD. Basically, here's when you look at this microdosing and some experiential. Here's where they are. They're entering phase 2 trials. So when you look at, okay, where's the money to be made? Well, when you look at the chart, you say, well, yeah, it would be nice to own it back here. And that's where my client was. So, well done. From 34 cents up to $3.40. That's nice. But is there more money to be made? So you see that, okay, well, here it screams higher. It gets kind of legitimized, if you will. And now it's really trying to figure out where there's, is there a future here? Well, when you look at this, okay, phase 2, all right, we'll see. It's got to pass, right? But we'll see. So new kind of pharma company. I kind of put this in with the cryotherapy and the chiropractors, and there's a lot of treatments out there that I just don't know if they're working. But the human mind being what it is, if you think it's working, then it might work, right? Just because you think it works. So a lot of unknowns here. So what I was going to show you though is, if you want to do your own due diligence on this, you want to look for the investor deck. So you simply go to investors, and this is of any company, not just this one, and you're looking for the downloads. You click on that and then download investor deck, which is what you get right here. And then there will be some legalese up front, but really when you get down to it, and this is what if you have your own company, you're trying to pitch or whatever, if somebody who says, hey, I want you to take a look at an idea, it's like, okay, send me the slide deck, the investor deck, and the term sheet. And we're not even talking, because a lot of times these people are trying to waste my time. It's just like, send me those two things. If you don't have those, you're not ready for the big leagues. And if you do have them, let me look at those first. And then if I'm interested, I will ask you questions. So this is pretty standard. They'll talk about the people up front, but then really their big three: anxiety, addiction, and ADHD. This is the chart I was looking for earlier. So really, is there, there's your thoughts on it, but then you have to look at it from an investment perspective. Is there going to be money that can be made here? If any of this stuff takes off, I think that there is a huge amount of money to be made, and they are, current solutions not working. Let's see, they literally are the only ones, or the leader that is doing this. Looks like my computer's hanging up there. But yeah, they're it, right? As far as the leader in the space. I thought it said that in here somewhere, but if you want to learn more, there is this presentation on YouTube. So just understanding the psychedelic medicine industry. So if you're curious at all, this is, again, 55 minutes. Kevin O'Leary, J.R. Ron's the CEO. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, the investor from Shark Tank. He's behind this big time. So if he's behind it, that makes me think he's probably got a pretty keen eye for the upside, right? But to hear him talk about this, it's like, yeah, we don't know what's out there. We don't really understand the human mind. And if we get into, this sort of stuff, huge upside, especially if people think it works. So that's what I've got for you today on MindMedicine. Again, looking at the chart, I don't mind an entry here. Not a lot. It's speculative. Down 340. It was up at, above 575 on that addition to the NASDAQ, but it's in the NASDAQ. It's below $5. I think an entry point here, if it gets above 5 and stays above 5, then mutual funds can own it. And that's where you really kind of get that traction from there. So I'm moving in. Do your own due diligence. If you're with me, you might see some of the stuff showing up in your portfolio. So, all right, real nice trade today. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys Monday. Bye.